Y'all know, or a lot of you know me, my wife owns a shop, and they're in that 700,000 to 800,000 a month range. So do a lot of volume, have a lot of staff. You would think would have a lot of things put together. And the one thing that we consistently, when I walk out and see what's going on, I consistently see that we have inventory that we haven't shown in a reasonable amount of time. We have inventory that has a lot of quantity left. We have an inventory that maybe is just a dud, right? We showed it 2 or 3 times, has a lot of quantity. And we're like, look, if no one bought it after 4 times showing it live, no one's buying it. Like, unless it's seasonality or something like that. And so what we did is we built on an Excel spreadsheet or a Google Doc. We would go in every single day and they would look at what was in the live yesterday and what we started with and what we have now to get a sell-through rate. And then we would look at it every 7 days after that. And so someone was spending like 2 hours a day building all these spreadsheets so that we could then take these spreadsheets and be very intentional about what we're going to show, when we're going to show it, how we would show it, so that we didn't have inventory that we invested a lot of cash into. Because when you buy the inventory, you're committed to it, right? You spent the money, like the money's on the line for you, and it's your profit. If you're a small business owner, then it's your profit. It's what you're going to pay your employees and your overhead and your own bills with. And so we wanted to make sure that we were very smart about how we were using this because it's a huge resource in the business. And so we got really good. We were showing things better, but it was so time consuming and it was still like not automated. And there were still some gaps in all of it. And so Daniel Jang, who is our CFO, and he's really good at this stuff, and he's been helping drive the whole Insights project with myself and some folks on the team, was here on site at My Wife's Boutique. And I was like, look, man, I got this project I'm working on. I need to figure out how to get this in Insights. And so we began down probably a 2-month journey to build it, get it stood up just for my wife's shop for a minute, just to kind of a vacuum and see if it actually worked. Like, did what we built actually work, and can we use it to run our business? And so this probably, I would say, 5-month project, 6-month project between the time we started here, getting it now, has been a labor of love. But the goal is to help you understand how to better use one of your biggest investments at your business, which is your capital, which is then turned into inventory, so that we can be very smart about how to maximize this. So really, really excited to do this. So I'm going to walk us through. I'm going to share my screen with y'all here. Give me just a second. And here we go. So I'm going to go back up to the top of this sell through. I'm assuming everybody can see my screen. Let me go back and look at the chat real quick. Can somebody give me a thumbs up that you can see it before I talk for the next 20 minutes and no one can see it? Thumbs up. All right, perfect. Thank you. All right, so this is my wife's shop. All right, so I'm not giving you this like, fake environment or whatever. This is a real environment, and want to make sure that you have access to this. So this is kind of KPIs at the very beginning as you get in here. I'm going to show you a couple things at the top. It's going to show you can do this by category or brand. And so say you want to know, hey, how are we doing with bottoms? How are we doing with tops? How do we do with whatever? Or I want to drill into Judy Blue or to Easel or to, whatever brand. You can do that as well. And you'll see in a minute where you can drill down an individual SKU. So, and then you can obviously, if you need help, there's some content on here and you can refresh it and some things over here. But we're going to skip some of that because I think it's pretty self-explanatory. So we want to do a high level. So let me take a couple things first about this. This is based on when you show it for the very first time live. And we have people go, oh, but I want to know everything. Right? Look, there are sell-through opportunities, and we can think about that later. But we are a live selling software. That's what we are, like our bread and butter, right? Now, selling all things are super important, but we're turning the clock from the time that you show it the first time live. And so this may not be the only sell-through you look through. There may be other things you want to look at. But for this report for today, and again, we can iterate on it later and do some different reporting. But typically, like at my wife's shop, everything that we show for the very first time is typically in a live. We debuted in a live. That isn't always true. So you may show something on the website a week before, but we're going to count from the time it's first shown live. Okay. So that's kind of first thing. We're going to follow it for 45 days. And the reason we stop at 45 is aged inventory starts picking up. And if we haven't been pretty good at getting this through in 45 days, we're like, there's a point where like in 60 days, do we know more than we know in 45? Most of our shops are turning inventory by then or selling through most of it. And then you're hitting like that 60-day aged inventory and you can manage it from there. And so a couple of things that we're sort of opinionated on. It doesn't mean that it only can work in these two kind of cuts, but we think this is going to get 99% of everybody in a really good spot. Other thing I'd say is it's better than what we currently have, which was nothing. And so like, this is kind of our first iteration and we may change it if we feel like we need to. So what it's going to do is show me the total number of SKUs that I've introduced in the last 45 days, what my starting quantity is, what my sell-through is, and what I have left. And this isn't the quantities, obviously SKU times total pieces. I will say there is one thing in here that's going to kind of throw some of this off is we did a pretty big vendor takeover where we put packs in, sold it, and then we bought the inventory. And so there's some SKUs that we've got to take out now because we're not going to sell those. We didn't need it. The demand went there, but we had a lot of quantity. And so like this week looks a little bit off because the amount of SKUs we've shown and it's not going to sell through as much because we had higher quantity. So a little bit different for us, but you'll kind of see normally kind of where we stand. Obviously you see the number here is way higher than normal. And so it's going to show this week, 1 week ago, 2 weeks ago, 3 weeks ago, 4 weeks ago, all the way to 6 weeks ago. And so my 6 weeks ago this week will fall off next week. And then my 5 weeks ago will hit 6 weeks. So we're going to track it in cohorts. And so it's like, 0 to 7, or 0 to 6, 7 to 13, 14 to 20. It's going to be broken up into those buckets. It's going to show you the total number of unique SKUs, how many pieces are left that are available, and how many you sold. And we'll see that from the 1 week view, 2 week view, 3 week view, 4 week view. And you see we're typically in line somewhere in here, but we're at Atlanta Market and they went live with wholesalers, showed a lot more SKUs 2 weeks ago. And so SKU counts up, but you'll see as we kind of track through what's left, what's available. You'll see it here at 100% range. And so what you'll start noticing, and once we get a little bit more historical information, what we'll be able to provide is, hey, normally at 3 weeks, you have a sell-through rate of 72%. But right now you're at 66%. And so we can figure out we're falling behind what we typically trend as a shop. Once we have historicals and we have a little bit more time, we'll be able to give you that information, which will go, are we good? Are we bad? The other thing we're going to do is look at, hey, based on shops, your size, meaning how much you sell, this is the average of all the shops that sell in that range. We obviously will never tell you what a shop does. We'll never give that information. It's obviously private to that shop. But if we looked at every shop that sold between $100,000 and $200,000 and we're able to say, hey, they're typically at 68% and you're at 72%, you can say, hey, look, we're actually doing better than what most people do kind of in our GMV bucket, our range. So we have something to know. If you're at 56%, we'll go, hey, you know what? You're typically not selling as well as other people do in your range. But there also could be some things that make that to be true that are okay. Maybe you don't sell women's clothing. Maybe you sell crafts, and crafts just doesn't sell the same way as clothing. I have no idea if it does or not. But you know what I'm saying? There's some scenarios where we'll want to make sure that we're looking at apples to apples. And again, we just want to help you understand what is good. Because you look at this, you're like, hey, you're better than me or I'm better than you. But neither one of us may be good or we both may be good. And so we want to make sure that we understand what good looks like. So as you'll see in here, as we kind of go through, some things will jump off the page. I'll look over here and go, hey, 2 weeks ago, I only have 24% inventory available. But, week 3 and 4, I actually kind of don't feel like I'm selling anything. From week 3 to 4, it's kind of stayed stagnant. And so, that we may want to double click into that date. And I'll show you how to do that in a minute. But ultimately, we want to get through 6 weeks and sell through as much as we can. We typically are around a 65% sell through when I look at this overall. And typically we got about, I would say 10 to 12% left normally. So we're a little higher right now in week 6. And there'll be some things that will stand out in a minute as we kind of get through that. So this is like high level. Are we doing good? Are we winning? And to give you a high level look. So where you're going to spend a ton of your time and where I think there is a lot of value just jumping off the page is we get in this, I would say, do this first. I'm like, this is what you do first. I want you to focus on this thing that I'm about to talk about next first. And so what I want you to do is come in and you're able to scroll through this and we have current quantity, right? So you see current quantity, you see time shown live, day since last live. What we're trying to do is catch things that have high quantity, have not been shown in a long time, or maybe not featured very often. We want to catch the things that got missed somewhere. They're hanging on a bar. There's a lot of opportunity. There's money just laying around, and we're not showing it to our audience. The number one mistake all of our boutiques, or most of our boutiques, think is, hey, I showed that once. Everyone's seen it. It's old. Let me just double click into that for a second. My wife has her shop has about 75,000 people who signed up for Comment Sold on our dashboard. We'll go live tonight, and we'll have about 500 to 600 people in the live, 400 to 600 people in the live. That's like a 0.5% of the people that have signed up, or maybe 2/3 of 0.5% that have signed up that are actually on the live. And so we have a tiny, tiny, tiny group of people that are actually watching the live at that point. To even go farther is not only that, but the people that bought that item is even smaller. The people that were a member that you showed that item 10 days ago, 14 days ago, is even smaller. We're talking about a handful of people out of this massive customer base that actually remember. The thing that's even better in all of this is a lot of times it gives someone time to get the item. And then when you show it again, it's been 14 days. Someone actually says, oh my God, I got that top. I love it. And then you have a customer celebrating this item. But what we do is we just want to show new. We think everyone's seeing that. It's old news. It's not old news. It's your money tied up in a product. And then people can help social proof it when you scan it. And then you have this opportunity to scale your business, sell, and turn that back into cash. So get out of your head. Please, I beg you, get out of your head that it's old. Everyone's seen it. The other thing that happens is if I'm shopping, I may have $100. There may be 3 things that I love, but I only can afford to buy 2 things. What if this other thing is that thing that I loved third, that I really wanted, I just didn't have the cash, and the next time you scan it, I'm like, oh my God, I'm so glad you scanned that. I forgot about it. I love that dress. I got it. I want it. Sold. I'm going to add to cart and check out. So get out of your head the mentality that everyone has seen it. And you know what? It's old news. It's not old news. So please, 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 please don't think that. So for whatever reason, why is it not scrolling right now? My entire screen just froze on me. So forgive me for a second. I was like, it's not scanning or scrolling. It's supposed to. So let me go back up. It only does this kind of stuff when we're like, in a demo or something. And let me try this one more time. So we're going to scroll over. Why is it not scrolling? Give me just a second, y'all. I'm sorry. All right. So it's fine. You can scroll over. You'll be able to sit in your dashboard. Over here's potential opportunity. It's going to give you a dollar amount. But what we're going to look at real quick is days since last shown live. And so I like sorting through this first is one of the cuts that I think are super important. So what we're trying to do here is, what do we have a lot of that has not been shown in a long time? And so some of this is not quite as alarming, right? Like I've got some pants that, I haven't shown in 41 days. I have 3 of them. Do I want to take that up as real estate in my life? Probably not. Here I've got something that's, that's a Zanana top that has not been shown in 34 days. I got 23 of them. You know what? I probably should spend some time putting that in as a reshow. As I scroll down a little bit more, you'll start seeing some quantity start jumping off the page a little bit more. So then I got something here. So let's jump on this one. That's been shown 3 times. Haven't been shown in 28 days. I've got 37 left. If I'm my wife, which I'm not, but if I'm my wife, I'm like, all right, I'm going to show that one more time. I'm going to get it back in a live. It's been 28 days. Maybe it's a little fallish. Maybe it's a little transition. And I want to make sure I show it again. But if I scan this thing one more time and I put it out there for a 4th time, and I don't have sell through, then it tells me I have an item that I'm not going to sell. I can wait another 15, 20 days. I can let that item sit out there and sit on my website, not move, and then mark it down. Or what I've been trying to get our team to do is say, look, here's an opportunity. Maybe that item, I'm just making up a cost. Maybe it's $54.95. Maybe I want to mark it down to $35. I haven't just completely marked it down, but let's create a doorbuster. I have a doorbuster tonight. It's $35, y'all. It's 40% off. You are going to love it. We've sold, already sold these a couple of times. I know some people out there have this item. Tell me you love it. If you see it, tell me you have it. Tell me how you wore it, whatever it is. Get customers talking about it. But let's send an app push that says, hey, skirt up 40% off, doorbuster, buy now, sell for $20, whatever it is. Let's create some hype around a live to get people there, to drive viewership. Let's take an item that's maybe not moving quite so well, and let's create some excitement around it to get viewership there to buy all the other stuff. So there's a different couple of ways to look at it. But what I want to do is test it. Can it sell again? Do I have an item here? If not, I need to burn it, get my money back out. I need to move on. And so what we're trying to do is a first cut of this, or what are those items? So I've got something here. I've shown 6 times. 6 times. I haven't shown in 24 days. There's 107 of them left. Now it's denim, but this may be an opportunity to go, look, we hadn't shown in 24 days. Let's get out in front of the customers. Again, if it's not selling, I need to move away from the site up. I need to get my cash back out. We need to move on. So I'm trying to get through here and look at what's high potential revenue. What are some things that have not been seen in a really long time so I can prioritize my reshows? And so what we do is every week we walk through, we go through this report, we figure out the items we want to pull. By the way, we're adding bin location in here pretty soon, so you know exactly what bin it is. We have a mini warehouse where all the samples are. And so we go through and we pull a rack. We tell all of our live people, hey, we go live like 10 times a week, 9 times a week. And we're like, when you begin to re-pull this up, I need you to make sure you're pulling from this. We have a bucket that jewelry is in. It's got red tape around the whole top of it so it stands out. And anything that's on this list that's high quantity jewelry, we throw in that bucket. So when someone's pulling what pair of earrings they're getting, or what necklace, or whatever it is, or what pair of denim they want to pull, we want to make sure they're pulling from this stuff because we want to get back in front of our customers. Again, we'll follow up and go, did it sell again? Did it not sell? If it didn't sell, we have to prioritize a markdown strategy to get this stuff moved out and get our cash back in so we can buy something brand new that has new life that we can sell to get that markup, right? We don't want to get stuck with inventory. You will burn your business around bad use of inventory and bad use of employees. If you get upside down in your inventory or you are overstaffed, you will burn through cash and burn through profit crazy fast, and it will absolutely cripple your business. So we're going to be smart about inventory. So I want to look through here and figure out the things that have not been shown in a long time. Now, I will say our team looks at this every single day. They are like literally in this all the time. So when you look at ours, it doesn't look as bad, right? I've got some things that haven't been shown in 22 days. They've only been shown once. There's 23 of them. I've got some things in here. But when we did this for the very first time, y'all, it was like I almost had a heart attack. I'm like, oh my gosh, like we are like not managing it well. And so I'm going to look at this pretty heavy here. You also can just look at current quantity and we can sort by quantity. What I have a lot of, maybe it hadn't been shown, a lot of times, but even this, like if I've got 202 of something and I hadn't shown it in 10 days, like I probably need to put some priority in this item. It doesn't mean it has to go live. Another way that we use this, and this has been really fun and it's given us something to talk about, is we'll pull that bar, right? We'll pull the bar and go, wow, we have 20 dresses on this bar. I'm not going to be able to show 20 dresses in lives this week. It's going to be too many dresses with all the stuff we have. So let's drop a dress collection. Let's drop it Friday afternoon. Let's push it all weekend. Let's send some app pushes. Let's do a little fit video, something fun. And let's really highlight a collection. Let's do 20% off this collection dresses, right? I'm still getting really good margin. What we found is people come back and buy something else too. So my active margin, my real margin's higher. And so, but then I move something that kind of needs to move. I get them to buy a couple things. I have really good sales that weekend and I'm able to move the needle. So it doesn't just have to be around lives. Maybe you got something in here that you're like, look, I have a lot of quantity. Let's try to do a fit video. Maybe you can run an ad around it or whatever it is. So we want to be really smart about how we use inventory and making sure it's working for your business. So I like looking at current quantity. I like looking at time shown live. If we'll sort that, I may look and go, look, this is just screaming the things that are not working that we don't need to show again. it is amazing sometimes the things that we show over and over and over again. Like this one, here's a pair of pants. Granted, it's denim. We've shown it 9 times. We showed it, 6 days ago. We got 98 left. Like there's a point where I just need to say goodbye to some of this. Again, down here, hadn't shown it 24 days. It's been shown 6 times. So then you can start thinking about what do I need to show again and make sure I get out. Now, denim is a little bit different. We're putting denim in all the time with different things. So denim's a little bit different. But all right, so that's how I use this report. What do I look at? I have a lot of quantity. What have been shown a lot of time? What's going to help me move the needle from a revenue standpoint? What has a lot of money tied up in it? So I can prioritize that with reshows and lives. And again, just side note on reshows, please don't say, hey, I got this reshow. I got this old thing that no one wanted, right? I know you wouldn't say that. Some of the things we'll say is, hey, y'all, like we have this item. Look, we sold through great in the first live. It's about to be gone. We cannot get this item again. Do not sleep on this item. Do not miss this item. This item, y'all, tell me if you're watching, did you love this item or not? Oh my God, I love it. And you get all the feedback and say, look, we'll never get this item again. So if you don't get it tonight, chances are you'll never get it. Do not miss out on this item. We're creating hype, creating FOMO. It's a great item. You're going to miss it. Don't miss it. You need this. Everyone else loves it. We want to make sure those words are better than, hey, I've showed this 2 weeks ago and I'm going to show it again. It's old. You probably don't want it. And we're always making excuses. Now, we don't say that, but in the way that we style it and focus on it, it's almost like we make an excuse for showing it. We're almost apologizing for showing the item. So be very clear about how you do it. So the other thing you can do, and I talked about this a minute ago at the top, is I look through here, let's just look at week 4 weeks ago, right? I've got something 33% sell through. You see the jump to 5 weeks ago to 19%, and you see from 3 to 4 weeks there's not a lot of movement. And so I would expect if this is better than this and this is here, these 2 weeks are, I would say, underperforming, especially week 4, because it's really not any better than week 3. So if I scroll through here, we also break this up by week. And so I can look at a specific week on an item. And so I'm going to scroll down to week 4 just for kind of this for us talking. And so this is going to allow me to see how it is sold. I do not know why it's not scrolling there. So it will go back 7 days, 14, 21, and 28. And I can begin to see kind of the growth in this, how many is available, when it was shown live, and how many times it's been shown live. And so we can begin to see like the growth of the item. Is it selling through better? Is it not selling through better? What's the progression? I was obviously at 20, then 30, then 33. Like I need to get this item back in front of everybody. But I also can, again, sort by current quantity available, come here and go, hey, like this week's not performing very well. What do I have a lot of? There's something in here that's not performing well. And I look, I'm like, all right, I have 4 items from EC Collection that have been shown pretty recently, but have a high quantity in it. I've got to figure out how to get this thing out. I've got to figure out how to get this item moving through. And so this is where we may do a doorbuster. We may go, hey, let's mark these things down to $20. And for the next 2 or 3 lives, let's have a $20 item that gets people hyped, gets people excited, high quantity, a lot of people that get it. I can sell this product, move it on. I'll get my money back out plus a little bit more and sell through. So, and then I got things like this. I've shown 4 times. I got 46 left with a 2% sell through. Y'all, a 2% sell through. It is a dead item. It needs to go away. You know what I mean? Like it needs to not be in my warehouse. Even if I have to, it's $47.95. I may need to put that joker on $20 and move it. There's just no point in keeping it. I'm not going to sell it better, or I need to get it back in front of somebody. But it's only been 2 days since I've shown it, and I've shown it 4 times. It's a dead item. We got to be smart and not be scared to lean into one of these things and go, look, I need to make a change. I need to do something. But when I look at this, here are 5 SKUs that I need to do something with. And even if you get down here, like that's 49%, not terrible. But these items I need to do something with. I've got high quantity, or they're going to go into a markdown and they're just going to sit and be forgotten. If you think about this, these items are probably like on page 40 of our mobile app. They're buried, y'all, if I haven't shown them recently. Now, these have been a little bit more because they got to the top of the app, but they're buried. If they haven't been shown recently, we've got to get them back in front of the people and make sure they're seeing it. So create a fun collection, create a fun drop, create a doorbuster, get to a markdown strategy. Whatever it is, we need to be making sure that we're being smart around inventory. I tell this story all the time. If I've told it and you've heard it, I'm sorry. But we used to have 2 brick and mortar stores. And so my wife's business partner, husband, was walking through the store one day, and we had inventory sitting in the same spot for like a week and a half. We needed to flip the store, re-merchandise it. And he took one of the employees over there and he said, hey, see all this inventory? And the sweet little girl was like, yeah, I see it. And he said, imagine that's like a $20 bill hanging on that hanger. It's not addressed, it's a $20 bill. And not only is it a $20 bill, but it's my $20 bill. I need to get my $20 bill back. And it was just like this visual for me. I heard him say it. I'm like, oh my God, like that puts a different like thought into it, right? Like that's my money hanging in a bar, sitting in a bin that I've already paid for. I've already paid that MX. I've already paid that credit card. And at this point, it is literally the thing that's profit. That's the thing that I get to bless my family with and take care of my family, take care of my employees, run my business. We've got to be very opinionated around managing this well. And so we have all these weeks. And then you're also able to drill down on individual SKU. So if I come up here and every time I pick a SKU, I pick some random SKU that like doesn't have anything in it. But let me show you what it looks like. And I'm going to pick a SKU up here, but I can go here and just say, we're going to pick a random SKU and let's just do some numbers, see what pops up here. I don't know if this is even a SKU. There we go. I pick this and I'm going to refresh it. And then I can drill down in this one SKU. And I had one selected a minute ago. And then when my screen refreshed, it went away. But you can come down here and drill down into individual SKU and kind of see how it's sold, how many times you've shown it live. And so it's going to show you days since first shown live, one time. All right, so we just showed this yesterday. We have a 6% sell through. But as you show it week by week and as you go through, it will actually, you'll see the chart and see how it's selling. So, and how many is available in your sell through. So this is the sell through. I'm going to stop sharing for a second and go back over to here so we can ask some questions and see if there's anything I can help y'all with. So what are some questions y'all may have around the sell through?
We had one question from Raymond, and it was, is there any way to get this expanded to show older stock, a way to see days since last shown live for all inventory past the 6 weeks?
So I know we got a couple of CGs on here. I know there is a CSV that maybe doesn't get you, it doesn't have this look, but there is a CSV. What CGs are on here? I know Shannon's on here. Is Sophie one of y'all? I don't know who's on here, but I know there's a CSV that's going to give you a better look at the inventory. If one of them are on, maybe they can.
There we go.
Yep.
Shannon, CSV 30.
Yep. So yeah, CSV 30 is going to give you a better look. It's not this detailed, obviously, but I think it's going to give you more of what you're looking for, Raymond. And if it isn't, obviously reach out to us. We'd love to make sure we get that. Yeah. So there's a point where we're like, when do we stop? Right. And so aged inventory, the insights tab on aged inventory is going to allow you to have a little bit more insight, CSV 30. And so, again, we may expand this and say, you know, hey, what are some other cuts we want to look at? But for right now, we feel like the opportunities in that first 45 days to really maximize. So,
awesome. Okay. If you have a question, drop it in the chat. I don't see any other ones right now. So I wanted to talk about a couple of things we've got coming up. Hold on. Let's see. Peyton says the sell-through rate that we see is just the live sell-through rate, correct? Example, it might say 0%, even if you've sold 50% of that product total, but none on a live.
No, it's taken on all sell-through, Peyton. So we're basing it on when you show it live, but it's going to show complete sell-through on the item. Because we know like you got live replay and then it's featured in the mobile app, it's featured in the web store, you have all the fit videos. So we want to like have that completely, the full sell through. Yeah, that's a great question, but yeah, it's full sell through, not live specific. However, the live dates and stuff are anchored into live events.
And so the clock starts when you scan it in on a live sale, but then the sell through is for all of what it does from that point on.
That's right. So one of the
Okay.
things I also want, Elizabeth, this is one of the things we'll build soon, is show me the things that have like infiltrable, but show me the things that I've received more than 7 days ago that have never been shown live or have like, sell through a zero. Like I want to be able to catch the things that just hadn't gotten scanned. You know what I mean? Because that's another thing. Like I may have it on a bar and it just never gotten scanned. And so it's not going to show up here. So we're trying to figure out some different ways to cut just an inventory so we catch things that, maybe or it had never been shown live, but yet, you've had X number of days. Because some things may never get shown live. And so I think there's a lot of opportunities here for us to give you some cuts.